Hello and welcome to the Unlocked Potential podcast. On this week's episode, we have me as your guest and Dan, the producer of the podcast from Primal Studios. And we will talk to you about how I started in the beauty industry. I hope you enjoy.
Demi, Ridikaite, welcome to your own podcast.
Hey.
Welcome to Unlocked Potential. So what I'll do is, before we get started, you've already given a little intro there, I'll explain to people who the hell I am, where some random dude is sitting in your seat in the podcast studio. My name is Dan, for anybody who is listening. I help Demi produce her podcast, Unlocked Potential. This is my studio we're sitting in now. And I am just going to sit here and have a chat with Demi because we want to know. We want to know who you are. We want to know your story. We want to know the behind the scenes to the podcast, to the business, to your life. So I'm just here to kind of give you a bit of a dig out with that. And if you've ever heard Demi mention Dan in her podcast, that's me, the random dude behind the curtain here. How are you feeling?
Grant.
You nervous?
Yeah.
Why are you nervous?
Because it's me now. The guest is me.
Yeah. It's funny. You said to me people have been asking to learn a little bit more about you, to know who you are.
I done a poll and I was like, what would you like to see next? And someone was like, obviously doing how you started. And I was like, right. Okay.
Does it make you feel weird?
And then I done like a question box on Instagram and a few people said that as well. And I was like, right, probably should do one.
Yeah. It's interesting because like you offer a lot of value with your podcast, with your business and stuff like that. But a lot of the time all people see is the Instagram page. They're like, oh Jesus, Demi's class, isn't she? She's got all this going on. She must be this, she must be that. And I work with a lot of people who run businesses, who do podcasts, who do socials, who are influencers and stuff. And they're normal people. But most of the time, the people who follow them don't get to see the rest of their lives.
Yeah, everyone's nosy. Everyone wants to see behind the scenes.
Everyone wants to see behind the scenes. It's human nature. So we'll kind of go in chronological order here with your life. You gave me some of these talking points, but I might cheat and go off script a little bit too throughout this. So why don't we start back at the start? Because you mentioned me before about school and how you got started in school and it wasn't really for you. So maybe tell me a little bit about that.
So I was 18 and I was trying to get a job. I literally applied for everywhere. I remember sitting on Indeed and I was like, I don't even care what it is. I'm just going to press send. Literally just sent it to everywhere. And no one was even getting back to me now. Fair enough, but there was literally nothing on my CV. No experience, nothing. I opened it there the other day because I had to apply for an awards and redo my CV.
Oh,
and I had to go looking for it. I was like, where am I even going to find this? I haven't looked at it since I was probably 18. And there's literally like work experience of working somewhere for like a couple of days, a month or whatever, and then I worked in a Chinese for a couple of weeks, and that was it. That was literally that was on me CV, and so fair enough, no one was trying to take me on. I had no experience. So then I seen a girl in my school doing a nail course, and I was like, oh, that's great. Work from home, do my own hours, and no one can say no to me. I just do it and that's it. So I just went and done the nail course, and then a couple of months later and I was like, I just seen an eyelash course and no one really done eyelashes back then, and there was only a few people around, and I was like, sure, look, why not? So then just jumped into that a couple of months later. Now it was really hard. You
were saying you hated the lashes at the start.
Yeah, I always say that as well in my course. I'm like, girls, you're probably more than likely not going to like this. Stick it out and then tell me you don't like it. Give it 6 months or something, and then come back and tell me you don't like it then, because I hated it. I was going to walk home from my course. I think I was 18, didn't drive around, and I was in Swords, and I was like, if I walk or get the bus here, just leave now. Actually, I hate this.
And what was it you hated about doing
it? It was just real tedious, and obviously you have no strength and you're not used to using both your hands. I'm right-handed. That's so I'm not used to doing my left hand or anything like that, and isolating and all. Obviously you don't know what that is.
No.
But yeah, it's hard. And then you're comparing yourself to once you leave the course, you're expecting to be like someone who's doing them 8 years or so and expecting to be great. Like everyone thinks it's just something so easy. And then literally, so you leave the course and you're looking at everyone else on Instagram or whatever and just comparing yourself, and you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? Why am I shy? Why am I, and then you kind of just like, oh, it's not for me, when it's not. You just never gave it a chance. You never practiced. You need to give it time, really. Yeah. And then once you start seeing improvement, like I think after like a year of doing nails and eyelashes, I was like, I'm actually all right at this. Until I kind of stopped, like put myself down and stuff over.
Yeah. And did you have like friends or family or anything like that who were business owners who could help you with this? Or were you kind of just, I'll do the course and then I'll start making money?
No, so it was just literally my ma and my dad. And no, I literally was just like, I'll do the course, and I wasn't really thinking too much into it. I was just thinking, no, I'll just do a course. Like I wasn't thinking that far into it, like as in like, oh, I'm gonna sorry, I'm gonna open up a salon one day or anything like that. I was just kind of thinking, how can I get a job?
Yeah. And when you were in school, was it something that's in your head that you just didn't like? You didn't like any of the options that were in front of you? You didn't kind of think about what you were going to do after school? Or was there anybody there that kind of had influenced you to maybe go down this route of doing it by yourself as opposed to going the normal route and getting a job and all that kind of stuff?
So I don't know. I think there was this, she just seeing someone else, because I found it so hard trying to get a job and no one would take me on, that I was just trying to think, like, I was literally like, what other way can I make an income? Because I was 18 at that rate, and I was just like, obviously, like when I was younger now, my mum was giving me €30 a week. Like that doesn't do it. Like, you know,
cover the rent now.
Yeah. So I was like, I need to do something with my life. And then in school, I didn't like anything. I wasn't good at any, like when it came to, I think it would have been fifth year. I was quite late finishing school. So I think fifth year I kind of started thinking, what do I want to do with my life? And it was none of that. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't like studying. I didn't like any of that. Like that wasn't for me. It was I was like more into like practical work. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you're out, you've done your course, you're kind of working through the first year, figuring it out, getting a little bit better, doing the lashes and stuff like that. Talk me through the next kind of steps then. What happens after that point?
Yeah, so I done my nail course, and then I done my lash course, and then I worked from home for probably about, I'm trying to think how many years was it, probably 3, 4. And then I got into like a rut. I was just kind of like thinking, there was no growth or anything like that. And
were you making money?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was fully booked all the time and working mad hours. And then you have your friends coming in and you're working doing lashes and nails till about 1:30 in the morning.
Okay.
Because there's like they're staying over or whatever. And then so that's another thing why I didn't like working from home. You never left work to be sitting around. You're like, oh, will you do my eyelashes?
There's no boundaries,
yeah. So then, so I was doing that for a couple of years, and then I got with my boyfriend, and we were with each other probably around a year, and we started talking about a house. And then I was like, right, if I keep doing that, I can't actually even go for a mortgage. I need to start thinking more into a route of, I need to either open up a salon or either get a job and not work from home. So then I was talking to me ma and me stepdad, and they were like, oh, sure, go for it. Why not? And I was just like, well, how does it even work? How does it work even going renting out premises, or what overheads do you pay? What way does tax work? And thank God me ma and my stepdad are accountants. So they sat down and they were like, right, we'll do a business plan.
What age are you at this point?
I think I was 21. I think I would have been 21. So it was 2019 that I opened the salon. I'm like, how old would I have been? I'm 26 now. What's that?
What are we now? 23 for 2019, so 26, 22.
Yeah, it would have been 22. Yeah. So then we done out a business plan, and then I started looking at premises, and then my stepdad actually found the premises on Richmond Road, and we went to look at it. And
is this where you are now?
So I have one of this location that was my first one, so I still have that now. I'm renting out stations in there now. This girl's working, and I have another location now in Long Mile Road, the training academy, and then we do product from there. But yeah, so we had that. I got the premises on Richmond Road, and I didn't even have that much money. I was just literally like panicking. I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna get everything, the renovations done, the furniture, and then so we done all that. I think we done all that in a month's time. I think it was me dad, Craig, and me. We were literally just in there. They were coming up after work every day, and I think I literally lived in there. And somehow I managed to go on holidays in that month and go to a festival. I don't know how I done that, but yeah, it was stressful. And anyways,
I can only imagine. I said to you before we started the recording here, there's a couple of like flags when I talk to people who are entrepreneurs. when you're younger, there's things that are a little bit different. Like you're doing things a little bit different to maybe some of your friends or to what the norm, quote unquote, is.
Yeah.
And if you're like, first of all, you're 21, 22, thinking about mortgages and houses and stuff like that, which is unusual. And I know you said you weren't applying for a mortgage, but even thinking about that and trying to understand like how do we start getting the money together here at that age, it just shows that you're thinking a little bit different. And then two, to take on the responsibility of something like a premises and rent and your own business at 22 years of age. It definitely is impressive, but it's not that normal train of thought, the kind of the safe option and go and get a job. And I know you said maybe you didn't have any options for jobs, but it is a brave move to kind of go for something like that and accept that responsibility. And fair play to the lads for giving you the dig out as well. But that is a brave move. There's a couple more little signs or signals like that for me as we go through the podcast here. So you had the premises.
Yeah.
You got it up and running. What's next?
So I worked from home not from home. Where am I going with this?
You're on Richmond Road now, yeah.
So I started working in Richmond Road. It was literally just one table. Had a reception table and all. I had one table, 2 lash beds. Because I just had a spare
just
one.
out of interest, what are we talking rent-wise in 2019 Richmond Road premises? What are you paying every month? Like, you're immediately taking on financial burden there.
Yeah. So I was paying so many different overheads. Like, obviously, I was paying insurance already and stuff like that. But insurance, rent, tax, electricity, your bins, all of that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think your phone, your internet. There's just so many different things that your ma was normally paying for.
Yeah. Because it's one of those things, isn't it? Like when you start a business, you think, right, I'm going to make this much money. And then you're like, you, as soon as you start the business, you're like, okay, well, it's going to cost me this much money just to run the business. And I think it's a common misconception with people as well, because this is why it's valuable to hear your story here. Because when people are considering this, that overhead piece is massive, especially at the start when you mightn't have a lot of money. And you think, okay, well, I can do X amount of nails and lashes in a month, and that'll give me $3,000. And then, but your overheads are $4,500. So immediately you're on the back foot, you're not making ends meet. So it's an important thing when you're kind of starting a journey like this to understand that concept.
Yeah, so what I done, I kind of just like, because I only had like a small amount of money to kind of work off. And obviously some of that was already spent on renovations. So I literally just went straight in and worked. I think I was in there 7 days a week for like probably 3 or 4 months. And then until I kind of got a bit more money up and I was like, right, I can start taking staff on. So then I took my first staff member probably like six months down the line maybe. And then it was just, I still felt like I needed to be there all the time because I felt like I couldn't trust her or anything like that. And then I think it was like my ma's wedding that I had to go somewhere. And then I just kept texting. I was like, yeah, all right, you okay, yeah, all right. And then I started taking more staff on, and then it kind of started growing from there. And then COVID happened. So then we had to close. And I think it was probably up to like closing, opening, closing. So fully like the amount of months that we had to close was probably a full year. So I think I only got like a chance. I didn't even get like a full year opened, and then we started kind of closing for COVID.
Okay.
And
just in that year before you hit the lockdown, that year where you were growing and bringing on more staff, how were you growing the business? Like, how were you getting more clients in, and how were you getting people in the door? What was that like?
So that was just mostly like, we did get a lot of clients from around the area. So the girls that rent stations now, they kind of have they do have a lot of clients now from the area. But most of it was from social media. I think it's social media. Everyone looks like, if you want to go somewhere, if you want to go for food, if you want to go anywhere, you're going to look it up. You're going to look at it on Instagram. So most of our clients we were having clients from Bray, we were having clients from down the country. Most of it was from social media. And
were you running all the social media stuff?
I was doing it, and then I was like getting the girls to do a bit. It was kind of, and then I had a couple of girls from like social media managers from England, but it was a bit harder then, because obviously then I had to take the content and then I'd have to send it. But then it'd be like, say the girl that I was working with from the UK, she obviously didn't do lashes or didn't do nails, so there's obviously different types of the way you have to edit your pictures and stuff like that, and she obviously didn't know the back end of that. So I was editing them and then sending them, and then she'd post them. So it was hard kind of. So I kind of done that for a few months, and then I kind of left it at that. And then I had another girl working with us. She was good. But then I felt like I needed someone. So at the minute now I have someone full time doing social media. I feel like I'm after skipping ahead completely.
No, it's okay. It's relevant.
But yeah, so I have someone full time doing social media now. It's the best decision I've ever made. I couldn't recommend that to anyone. The growth now that we're after having with our social media is unreal. And I'm like already thinking like, right, okay, I think I need another 2 more people to do full time social media.
Right. If you were, because obviously budget is an important consideration in that first year, if you were to go back and do that first year again now with the social stuff and the advertising, would you have changed what you done? Say you couldn't hire someone on full time.
Yeah, so I think for ages I felt like I knew what I needed to do, but it was just kind of like, I can do it myself.
Yeah.
Thinking that you can do everything, but you can't do everything yourself. You can't work 7 days a week. I still kind of kept that up even with how many staff I had. I think I cut down my days and done 6, and I used to do from 9 till 8 every day, even if the girls finished later. Because that's the way in my head I was thinking, the more appointments I can do, I can make more money and my business will grow. But that's not the way it's going to grow. There's only so much you can make doing appointments. And for ages, Craig was actually saying that to me for ages. He was like, you can't do appointments forever. And I'm like, yeah, but like, it's, you see, sometimes what scares me as well, thinking that if I take a step back from doing appointments, my work won't be as good. Because you see people who get older, they kind of take a step back or whatever. If they're in their business and they're older and they take a step back from doing appointments in the industry that I do, in the beauty industry, they kind of, their quality of work isn't as good. So that's what I was kind of afraid of as well. I didn't want to kind of get out of trend or
lose the touch.
Yeah. So then that was a big thing as well. But he was just like, you can't keep thinking like that because you're not going to grow your business. And I feel like that. I can only realise that he's going to be like, seriously, I'll chill.
We'll let this bit out of the podcast. Okay, so that kind of difficult year, you weren't even really open the full year, and then lockdown hits.
Yeah.
Started 2020.
Yeah, so for the first couple of months, I was kind of like, I was enjoying it. I was like, oh my God, no work. I was like, no, I can't do it. I was kind of stressing. I was like, how long is this going to go on for? But I wasn't expecting it to go on as long as it did. So for the first few weeks, I was just kind of like, oh, all right, whatever. I think, was it the first lockdown we had the good weather or the second lockdown?
I think the first lockdown was in March, so maybe the second lockdown, I think.
Yeah, so maybe like the first week I enjoyed it. Okay. And then after that I was like, right, this is not right. Like, how long is this going to go on for?
Yeah.
And then I started stressing. I was just like, right, my bills are still coming out.
And you still have staff and everything on
Now I did kind of like, I wasn't paying them because I wasn't at the, I wasn't at the, what's the right term?
Threshold, yeah.
Yeah, to actually be able to pay them and not have any income coming in. But there was still, all the bills were still coming out, and then obviously I had to live. So and then
as a business owner, you get nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I wasn't actually. I think it was later, a couple of months later on, that they were kind of giving you money to business owners, wasn't it? It wasn't at the start. You weren't even getting it.
Yeah, it was very messy at the start. Yeah, there was a lot of confusion around who was able to get what. But like a lot of small business owners suffered because they weren't eligible for any kind of relief. And where's their staff?
It all depended how long you were open.
Yeah.
Like, I think mine, because I was only open, I think at the start I was getting the full amount. And then near the end of it, they were like, I wasn't able to show paying taxes for long enough. So they cut it to like half.
Okay.
And then I was like, well, like, what? I think was it that? I think it was something like that. And then I was just like, well, I've been closed.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and then I was like, why can't you just judge what tax I paid over this certain amount of time? I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was so annoying. I was like, are you for real? Yeah. So I was literally just at the start for probably the first week, I was kind of enjoying it, and then afterwards, I kind of started stressing. Then I was like, right, there's all this money coming out of my bank account, and then no money coming in. I was like, there's only so long that I can kind of keep doing this for. And then I was crying every couple of days. I was stressing. And then I kind of was like, right, thinking, what is on my list of goals? What is it that I never get a chance to do because I'm working 6 to 7 days a week in the salon? And then it was obviously I wanted to teach courses and get accredited, but then obviously there was a lot of work that needed to be done for that. So I was like, right, okay, I'll start writing my manuals. I think I already had my course done to teach before that, and then so I was literally about to no, I'm confused myself there, you know that? No, so I wrote my manuals during the first and the second lockdown.
And what are manuals for anyone who mightn't understand?
So they're like the booklets that you'll get when you're doing a course of all the information and knowledge that you need for the specific treatment, to do the specific treatment.
Okay.
Like your anatomy, physiology, your health and safety regulations and all that. So that was a headache. It was literally like writing. They're all like 60 pages long.
And where did you learn how to do that?
So obviously in my course, my teaching course, and then I looked up a load of you can buy like ebooks that help you how to write write the manuals and stuff like that. And then I actually done a lot of ebooks as well and master classes during COVID as well. Because I was like, how can maybe I can educate myself or do something.
Here's the next little flag, right? Because a lot of the times when something happens that's very dramatic or traumatic and puts us in this kind of fight or flight, like COVID, lockdowns, etc., people just freak out and become the victim. And this is terrible, why me? But after that initial period of you being upset, this growth mindset comes through again. Like, how can I take advantage of this situation? How can I pivot? How can I grow? How can I use this time? So again, another little sign there that there's something different about the way the brain works.
Yeah. No, that's all. I'm glad I done that because like, I think it kind of annoys me. I'm like, how much time did I waste sitting around and stressing where I could have probably done way more than what I did? So yeah, no, I'm definitely glad I done that.
Yeah, fair play to you. And at the start of lockdown, the middle of lockdown, the end of lockdown, how did that journey look for you? At the start, obviously crazy, things shut down, you've no money, you're worrying about the overheads. Then you start to build the courses and stuff like that. Did your kind of outlook change? You're like, okay, when we open up again, I'm ready to rock here. Were you able to do any of the actual work during lockdown, or were you kind of restricted to kind of building the business in the back end?
Yeah, no, so I actually wasn't able to do anything at all. There was word of it being like, oh, you can actually teach courses. But then, like, it was real kind of unsure, like, because there was other girls that were actually teaching courses, but then they'd get shut down in person. Okay. And then it'd come out as in that it was a mistake. They shouldn't have got shut down. So then I was like, can I do a course? Can I not do a course? But yeah, no, I wasn't able to do any appointments or any treatments or anything like that. It was just anything that was basically kind of online. The only thing now, I launched some of my products during COVID, so I was able to do like deliveries and stuff like that. So that was another thing. Or I done the strip lashes and the stick on nails, but that was just a waste of time, to be honest, I think.
What were your own products?
Yeah. So I launched eyelash products and lash glue adhesive, and yeah.
Talk us through that, because that's not an easy thing to do. Yeah,
so I was like, right, okay. I was like, what's the next thing that I kind of wanted to do that I never got a chance to do? So I was like, right, I'll find suppliers. I'll just start testing out samples. So I tested a load of samples, found the products that I actually liked, and then went from there.
So it's funny because you're saying some of this stuff like it's like I found some product, found suppliers, tested samples. Like, again, this is not your background.
Yeah.
How was it? Just kind of you decided, right, this is the thing I want to do, and then you read around it, research it yourself, and find out what you need to know, or did you have somebody advising you how to do this kind of stuff?
Yeah, no, I just seen someone like telling me where. So Alibaba.
Oh yeah.
Yes, that's one of the websites now. I feel like some people still think it's a secret or something, like telling people where do you get your something?
China. We got it from China.
Yeah, like everything that is like made. I hate when sometimes I'm like, oh, they're from China. Everything you own in your house, on your body, like, is from China. I think there's barely any manufacturing companies anywhere else, isn't there? Other than
it depends. It depends on the industry, obviously. Yeah. But a lot of the stuff that we would import is from China. Yeah, and like
it wouldn't be profitable enough to make it here.
It's way too expensive to make it here.
Yeah. So like, obviously, it's going to come from there.
Yeah. Now, a little caveat for that: there are a lot of really great Irish companies making clothes and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It's just more expensive to do it here, and they do it.
And then they're probably you're not gonna get it as cheap. Everyone wants everything cheap and good quality, and
that's exactly the point. Yeah, people want the high quality, homegrown, organic, true Irish stuff,
but they want to pay nothing for it.
They want to pay nothing for it. Yeah. It's the same thing with Amazon and stuff like that. Like this, you can buy stuff on Amazon for 30% less, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's terrible. The money's leaving the country," and they still buy it because it's 30% less. So I've often thought about this. Like, is there a way that we can subsidise Irish companies here so they're able to make the products and sell it for a little bit cheaper, so we can actually buy Irish, keep the money in the country? But it's a different conversation. But most of the stuff that we're buying is coming from online, and a lot of Irish companies who say that they're selling the Irish products are actually importing stuff from other countries. Usually China.
Yeah, and then it's all this big secrets. Yeah, so I heard of Alibaba, so I went on there, and then you can actually AliExpress as well works the same kind of.
Yeah.
You can get in contact with the manufacturers, and then they're at like it's not just like someone in China making it with their back garden like that. It's their proper manufacturing companies. That you talk to or whatever, and then they'll send you pictures of how they work and videos and stuff like that. You can actually go over to them if you wanted to, and meet them. That's what I'd love to do. I want to do that next year. Go over and just go to different manufacturing companies. Yeah, and I'm like I could probably find like much better and like obviously better quality, better price. There's actually like they're like shopping centers over there. I was watching a video of a girl that went over from America, and she went over and there's like areas, they're like big shopping centres, and it's all just manufacturers, and then they'll bring you through and show you how they make it. It's like you walk in and it's like they have it all at the back. It's like a small manufacturing kind of company in the back, and they show you how they make it. You meet them and all, you see the product yourself, and then obviously you can bring some back with you, which I thought would be unreal instead of waiting. So you'll obviously get in contact with them. By the time you tell them what you want to order, the time difference, the time zones, so while you're talking or whatever, and then you end up ordering the sample. By the time you get in contact with another person, where you kind of just go and meet all the manufacturers in the one place, and then it's just quicker and easier instead of like waiting around. It takes so much longer to do it the way of ordering stuff here.
Yeah. So also you get to meet the people and get a feel for it. And there is a concern a lot of time people think about China and they think about the labour conditions and the people over there. So you can kind of go and see a lot of that. And it's like anywhere, some areas in China are different and some are run very well and some not so well. So it gives you the opportunity to go over and kind of have a look and a feel. Who are these people? What am I ordering? Where's it coming from? Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'd love to go. That's me, a goal for next year to go. I've been like saying it to Craig or my friend and all, and they're like, yeah, I'll go.
And the product stuff, does that do well for your business?
Yeah, so I feel like now since I feel like I'm after so now since like January, I feel like my business has kind of changed for more like for self-employed individuals in the beauty industry. I provide obviously like lash products, and obviously going forward, hopefully in a year or so, maybe nail products and whatever else. So like providing products and then courses and then renting out stations and stuff. So I feel like the products do well. I kind of mostly just sell to people in the beauty industry. There's only very like your lash shampoo or your lash and brow serum. They can kind of be sold to anybody.
Okay.
Because obviously you need to be qualified using like lash glue. It's not like just like your strip lash glue. If you like pour that on your eye and all, like you know.
I don't know. No.
Yeah. So it's no one who's not qualified they shouldn't be using it.
Okay.
So,
okay. I'll tip you back a little bit just to fill the gap for people between you were in COVID. You were working on the back end of your business, building your manuals, looking at courses, all that kind of stuff. Then the doors opened again, we were able to practice again. So did you go back into the premises? Were you bringing on more staff? Was the business starting to grow again after the lockdown ended?
Yeah. So so when we opened back up, then I had my my first course. I had the day set for, and then we started working again, and then I think we closed again. We didn't even get to do my fourth course, and then we opened again. And then I started teaching. I remember I was so nervous. I remember I was watching a TED Talks on confidence and how what is it the poses? I think I said it to you before. There's a girl that she kind of like things that you can do, like not like
power poses and postures and stuff.
Yeah, to make you more confident, and then you like it's like you're not nervous anymore. I done that before I started. I went into the toilet and I done that. For anyone who done my first course, really like what?
Go on, show us what you did there.
I think it's just literally like, so I feel like you feel more nervous when you're like this.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what the TED Talks was now. But basically she was saying if you stand like that with your hands like that or up, it's like you feel more empowered and more confident or whatever. And that actually worked. So hopefully nobody noticed that I was nervous in the first course anyways. But I actually I'm going to link that underneath the podcast.
The TED Talk?
Yeah. I love a TED Talks. Anything that I can kind of learn from something. But yeah, so I done that. I started teaching. Now the nerves are just gone. So used to it now. It's just like doing appointments, teaching. It's mad.
Same as when you're doing the podcast.
Yeah, the first day I done the podcast, I was so nervous. And the first time I went on a podcast, I was so nervous, and then now it's just kind of like,
you're pro now, yeah.
Yeah, like
it's the same as everything though, and I think that's part of the point of this episode as well for people. Like you struggle with this stuff all the time, constantly.
Yeah.
And like, I know I'm saying there's little kind of hints with you, like even that last bit there about you love consuming TED Talks and things that are going to expand your mind versus a lot of us just want mind-numbing entertainment or stuff like that. You're in a space where like if this is not going to give me value, I don't want it.
I don't even have a telly in my room. I like now the only time I'll watch telly now is when I'm with Craig, because I see it as in like we're spending time together.
Yeah.
So, but if I'm on my own in my house, I'm like, it annoys me if I find myself on Instagram or TikTok scrolling. I'm like, get me off this.
Why does it annoy you?
Because I'm like, I'm wasting time that I could be like, how much time have I wasted where I could have either worked and grew my business, or I could have done something to learn something, or just make myself better as a person, or like basically grow my business, you know, where like you're watching like stupid videos on TikTok or whatever, and you're like, it's been 2 hours. What am I doing? Like,
so here's a question for you, right? Because I would be kind of similar to you as well in that sense, but a lot of people push back against this nowadays, and there's no right or wrong answer to this, and they call it like toxic productivity and always having to be go, and the hustle culture and all that kind of stuff. Why?
Now with that, I put myself down over it. Like, fine, if my day is not like I used to do it, it was as bad. I used to go to bed at 11 o'clock at night, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and if I wasn't like, didn't go to the gym that day, didn't work from morning to night, and if I ate any bit of crap, I would like literally have myself in such a rut. Like I felt like my day had to be like that every single day, where like I started going to counselling, and she was just kind of like, that's not normal. We're not robots.
Yeah.
And where like I'd really put myself down over.
So my question is then, why? What is it that your business is doing for you? What, like, if you think of the vision, right? You want this business, you want this growth, you want this success. Why? What's it going to do for you in your life? Why is it that you want that? And it kind of links in with the consuming, constantly being productive and not consuming content that's not going to help you grow and kind of stuff.
Yeah.
What's the goal for you with this? I don't mean in 50 years' time. I mean, why do you run this business? What's it giving you?
Freedom, and it makes me happy. I don't know.
Okay,
like,
yeah. No wrong answer to.
Yeah. Like, this is not a game show.
No.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like, it makes me so excited. Like, anytime I see any like bit of growth in my business, so I feel like I'm like I think I'm a workaholic. Like, I'm not even messing. Obviously, sometimes in a bad way. Because half the time, me stepdad, my mad, to be like, do you even see your friends?
Yeah.
Sometimes you'd be like, oh, will you text us back? But yeah, so what was every point back to the question?
No, it's good because there's loads of conversations happening around this kind of stuff, and I think if you were a workaholic because you wanted the next zero on your bank account, and you wanted to have more than somebody else, you were comparing yourself. That's one thing, and that could be considered as unhealthy maybe. But if you genuinely enjoy the game, you enjoy the process, it gives you joy, and it's giving for Demi, what you want in your life, that this journey's giving you, then there's not necessarily a problem. But you can see that it's both kind of the same thing, but the context around it is different. What you're telling yourself is different. You enjoy it, you like it, it makes you happy. Whereas if you were just doing it to chase that number or to be a bigger business than Mary's business, whatever like that, you're doing the same thing, but you're doing it for different reasons. So I just think it's important for us as listeners to get to know you as well, but for you too, to like, why are we actually doing this? Like, I run a business and I constantly ask myself, why am I doing this? Am I doing it for right reasons? Am I doing it for wrong reasons?
I feel like if I was just to kind of, if I wasn't doing what I was doing, I'd be probably depressed. Because if my day isn't, as I said, like, I'm not as bad anymore now. I won't be getting up like at 5 a.m. and I'm making sure I'm getting me 8 hours of sleep and all, looking after myself, because I do have I hate when I say it, because I don't want people thinking I'm looking for attention saying this, because I don't. That I have MS, and obviously every time I go to the doctors, they're like, are you getting sleep, are you doing this or whatever? So I make sure I'm getting me sleep. If I have to get up, I'll get up. But now I'm kind of like, right, I'm watching more podcasts about sleep. I was telling you about that, wasn't I?
Yeah.
And it just showed me the importance of getting your 8 hours sleep. So I'm making sure I get that now. I won't be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning anymore. But yeah, no, I enjoy seeing my business grow. If I feel like it's not growing, or I just feel like I'm stuck, I get upset.
Okay.
I don't like seeing that. So I feel like that's why I kind of keep pushing myself to do more and work harder. Don't want to be in a row.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And like I
Yeah.
said, it's not right answers. Once you think about this stuff, I think it's important. So you changed the model of your business because you mentioned now what you are now is you're more, and this is interesting because we find what fits us better, and you're now more helping people who are self-employed or who are getting into the industry or who are growing their own businesses in this particular industry. But beforehand, you were a business person, an employer. You were growing the business. The more, I suppose, the more traditional way of growing the business, bring more staff in, get more clients in, grow the numbers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What changed? What was the changing point?
So, over obviously the years that I was open, I kept looking at my figures, and I was just like the same amount that was going out for, say, so buying all the overheads that I had to pay to have staff and like hire staff for treatment, what you were able to charge. So in the beauty industry, over in this country, and anyways, it's not, you can't charge as much as you can in other countries. So obviously it's more profitable for, say, you're going to have more salons in America, Australia and stuff like that because they're able to charge more, so they aren't making profit from it. That's the whole point of having a business, to make money from it. Where over here, because we charge so little for beauty treatments, it's not, you don't make much money from it. Like, to be honest, I looked at my figures and I was like, like over the years, I've never got a chance to properly look at them because we were opening, we were closing. Then I was only my first year. So I was like, right, I can't look at my first year being in business. That's not going to be right. Then over the 2 years and I was open, we were opening, closing. And then we opened, and last year was the full year we were open. I had 10 or 11 girls working for us doing treatments. And I sat down at the end of the year because I had a feeling, I knew I was like, I'm wasting my time with this. And it's a lot of work for anyone who owns a salon, knows how stressful, especially not even just a salon, just having 10 members of staff, even if you have a manager.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So, and then I was just like, am I putting myself through this stress for no reason? I'd probably rather just go get a job somewhere. And like, so then I sat down with my stepdad. For anyone who doesn't have an accountant, he's Expert Services, Jerry.
Big shout out to Jerry.
So I sat down with him and I was just like, I need to sit down and look at these again. I'm telling you now, I was like, it's not worth me while. And then we looked at it and he was just like, yeah, you know what, this is pointless. And I was just like, oh my God, it was really kind of like, it wasn't pointless. I kind of grew a business. I grew the name. I kind of got my products out there. Obviously, I done all of that. Started teaching. It wasn't pointless. It was a learning curve as well. But yeah, I was just kind of sitting there and I was just like, it's not that we were like, and the thing is, we weren't dead. It's not that we were sitting around, had no appointments. We were fully booked all the time. Loads of customers in the door, like the size of the salon. I was like thinking, before we sat down, I was actually about to jump into this big, huge premises that was just concrete and get more staff. Thinking, my kind of thing in my head was like thinking, do I need to have more staff to start seeing a profit? Then will I start making more money? And then I was like, and then when I sat down and looked at that, and I was like, no, it's just going to keep balancing out. Because when I sat down and looked at it, I was like, all the overheads that were going out and everything that was taken in, it was kind of like balancing out.
But one thing doesn't balance out with the stress.
Yeah, and I was just like, what? Yes, exactly. Yeah. So if I would have taken on more staff, I would have still not been making any money. Like, and then just, I could have done this for however long. And that's half the time, like, I'm like, I know, so if someone else is going to be listening to Home Salon, they're going to be like I'm basically like slanting salons. I'd love to go into the salons and be like, just sit down and look at your figures. Because you're kind of like, you're in this role, just doing the same thing that you're used to.
Yeah.
And then when we sat down and we were like, right, yeah, no, can't keep going like this. It's not worth me while. I was like, I'd rather just focus on my courses, my training, my products. And then I was looking at other beauty businesses in like the UK, America and stuff, and I'm like, the ones that are doing really well. And I was like, what do they do? And then I was like, right, none of them have salons. Why do they not have salons? Especially in the UK. Fair enough, in America they do, because they charge €300 for lashes and €300 for
So that was my question.
nails.
Why can't we charge as much here? Is it just the marketplace dictates that, or why are they charging so much more in like the States?
I think it's just what we're after, the standard that we're after setting. Like it's not that we can't. I feel like it's just because everyone charges that, everyone's afraid to put their prices up higher. like our costings are the same. Like everything is the same. Like maybe their product is slightly higher, only by a couple of euro. But I think it's because all our clients and everyone in the country is so used to paying that much. I put the prices up by a fiver on a couple of things, and there was murder. They were just like, that's extortion. I'm not used to paying this, blah, 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 giving it loads to the girls, ringing the salon phone, giving it loads. And I was just kind of like, right. So the only way I can make a profit is if I turn into a salon that's a conveyor belt, or don't pay me taxes, get rid of my card reader. Like some salons, everyone knows what salons I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Not pay me taxes, pay everyone's wages off the books, pay them all cash. And that's the only salons now that are open and are probably doing well, because it's the only way that you're able to make a profit is if you don't pay your taxes and don't and pay all your staff off the books. So where was I going with this? Went on into a rant.
No, and I feel like this is important as well for people to understand, because I see it. A lot of my clients or friends, whatever, with own businesses, not just in your industry, the fitness industry, the wellness industry, health industry, restaurant, food, cafes, whatever. And it's the same thing, unless, because I was the exact same. I had no experience or background in business, and unless you actually sit down, because in your head you're like, more customers and more staff, bigger business, more money. Successful. Yeah. It just makes sense in your head. When you actually sit down, and again, going back to this thing we spoke about at the start, the overheads, and you work it out, you're like, that's not how it actually works. But usually you're not 8 or 9 years into a business then. You're lucky that you were early enough and you've built this massive business, and you're still not making any more money. And it's not all about money, but as a business owner, there has to be a point where you're able to not do appointments anymore, because you're comfortable enough financially to step back and scale the business and manage the staff and make a better service. But like, I know people who have had multiple premises, multiple salons, gyms, whatever it might be, and they're making no more money, but they're doubling or tripling their responsibilities and their stresses and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And they're like, why? This doesn't make any sense. But it's when you sit down, you mentioned accountants, we'll talk about that in a sec. When you sit down and you go through it and you actually figure it out, you're like, there's no way to scale this in a comfortable manner. It's an ego thing. And there's a big thing about like, I do 20k months, I do 50k months, I do 100k, whatever bracket that you're in. Yeah. But what's the profit? What are you taking home at the end? It's not about how much money your business makes or how many staff you have or how many gyms you have. That's just an ego thing for people. And this sounds a little bit like, oh, never open a business or a salon. It's not. It's just at the start to understand why you're doing this thing and have a very, very clear concept of how a business grows and scales and how that affects your profit margin. Because that's all that matters at the end of the day.
Like, what's the point of putting yourself under so much stress and opening a business? Like, obviously, it's about growth. And you want to do better or whatever, but at the end of the day, you open a business to make a living, make money, and if you're not doing that, you're just adding stress to your life, and where you'd probably see more money just working a 9 to 5 and getting minimum wage. You know.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Okay, so that kind of inspired the change in you. You moved from that model of more clients, more staff, etc., to different business model here, education, products, teaching people, that kind of stuff. And that's where you are now. Is that kind of the model that you're operating in now?
Yeah. So I feel like now in this day and age, more and more people now are looking to work for themselves. You know, I feel like that is a really big thing.
Gotta get that grind.
Yeah. So, and in the beauty industry, especially, like most people who are in the beauty industry, that's the way it's going now. Like, you know, obviously from even having my own salon now, if there's such a big staff turnaround, and anyone who's had salons will know that themselves. People come in, they'll learn, and then obviously they want to leave, they want to work for themselves, which is normal. So that's the way the beauty industry is going. So I'm like, right, okay, I need to provide for the self-employed. So what can I do? I can have products, I can sell them products. I can rent out stations. I can teach courses. So my business model now is providing for the self-employed in the beauty industry, basically. Yeah.
Fair play. I think it's brilliant, like even spotting that niche, and you spotted it because you were in it, and now you know, because you were in that kind of world, you know exactly what you would need as a self-employed business owner, someone who's doing it themselves, and being able to provide that, because essentially it's what business is all about. Because we get caught up, as you said, in everybody's doing this thing, so that's the thing that I have to do. And for some reason we think if I just do it better or more than the other people, I'm going to be more successful than them. But everybody's doing it. Yeah. But now the mindset that you're in is all these people are going to have needs, and I might be able to help them with their needs. And it's one of the oldest things in business. You've probably heard this a million times now because you study a lot of business too. Like, if you can help other people solve their business problems, you're going to do well in business. So if your business model is to help other people with their businesses, you're going to always do quite well because you're helping people solve problems. So you're always having an impact. You're making money. You have that freedom, and then you're not stuck in the grind and the rat race, which is a nice place
exactly,
to be. You mentioned to me when we were speaking about this particular episode about that little bit of overwhelm though as well, because you're and I can see you're like me as well in terms of there's so many things you could do. You want to do them all, and you want them all to work right now.
Yeah.
Are you feeling kind of the pressure of having all those plates spinning at the moment?
Yeah, so I think it was just kind of obviously from January as the salon closed. It didn't close. I don't like saying that. Yeah, literally, yeah. So I let go of the girls that done treatments. I kind of let that part of the business go. I didn't close or anything like that. And then a few of the girls stayed with us and rented stations. And basically, yeah, then I got the second premises, and everything just happened so fast. It was literally, I got the second premises. Like I was looking for about 2 years for the second premises, but obviously I'm glad. Do you know what? It was actually the right time that it happened, because before that I was looking for a premises to have all this amount of staff doing treatments, and I need this premises to do this and that, where I kind of got a chance to sit down and be like, right, no, this is not what I want to do. This is what I want the premises for, is just me courses and me products. So do you know what? Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
So I got the second premises, the renovations had to be done. Then I started the podcast, then moving from one premises to another premises. Then I feel like there was something else, and now I can't even remember. Oh, the beauty show. I think I just jumped into everything, and everything was in the 1 month, and I wanted to do everything. I feel like I'm so eager to see growth. Sometimes I'm just jump towards it or whatever, and I'm just kind of like, it's fine. I'll figure it out. I'll just do it. And then I think that now in May, I took way too much on. So how do I put this? I jump into things to see growth, but that kind of learned me to kind of slow down a little bit. Because I got depressed. I didn't enjoy anything I was doing. I couldn't wait till everything was over. So where this, especially starting the podcast, the beauty show, everything, all this should be exciting. This is things that I wanted to do for so long. They were on my, as I said, I have like a list of goals that I want to do, and they've been on my list of goals for the last 2-3 years. And like I didn't enjoy any of it because there was so much going on. It was just so stressful that I was just kind of get this done and over with. I didn't kind of do it as well as I could have as well. Well, I feel like the podcast is doing really well, but everything was just rushed. That's what I'm kind of trying to say. Everything was kind of a bit rushed too much. I feel like some things could have been done a little bit better.
Okay. And what are you doing now to kind of correct that, or to allow for that? Like, are you slowing things down? Are you pulling a little bit on certain things?
Yeah, I'm trying to just kind of slow down a little bit. Saying that now, the things will pop into my head, and then I'd say it to Craig, and he was just like, will you stop? Like, relax. Yeah, I'm like, we should open this up. And he's like, what? Like, I turn around and say the most randomest things that pop into my head. And I don't let go of them for about a week. And he was just like, remember last month, Demi, will you relax?
Yeah.
So yeah, I do kind of where am I going with this now again?
Just is there anything that you're doing now to kind of to help yourself with that sense of overwhelm?
Yeah, I'm just trying to just focus on what I have now, and just like try make them things better. Like improve my products, improve my content with my products. I'm still something that was meant to launch my online courses that I had to pause. That's what I paused that, because I was just like, I can't cope with all this this pressure. My online courses and the new website, which was everything was meant to be done in May, and I kind of just took a step back and slowed it down, where it should be done now in the next probably couple of weeks. But yeah, I'm just trying to focus on what I have at the minute and make it better, instead of like jumping onto something else. And
there's one thing that struck me about you when I met you, because I only know you 3 months, maybe now. Is it 3 months?
Yeah,
even 3 months, and it's you take action. You do action things, and sometimes I can leave the overwhelming stuff. There's two mentors. One is not actually a mentor of mine. So someone you probably know, Alex Ramosi. Someone he's a business kind of coach. He's grown quite big on social media recently. But one is actually a mentor of mine as well. And he told me the worst thing that you can ever do in business is nothing. So taking action is a massive power, because a lot of people will overthink and analysis by paralysis. They'll think of something and never do it. They'll have a million ideas. Probably most people listening to this now have a million ideas, but maybe have never done any of them. So you're the opposite. You kind of take action. So just being able to manage that, but it's a positive thing, but being able to manage and not take too much action. And Alex Hormozy always says one of the best skills a business owner can take is developing a bias toward taking action. So whenever you think of something, taking action is the hardest part. It's that just doing the thing is the hardest part.
Yeah.
You can manage all the madness afterwards. You can kind of pull things and slow things down and correct things. But if you don't take the action, it's never going to happen. And you tend to take action a lot. So your problem is a little bit of the opposite, like taking all the action and then seeing how you can still maintain your quality of life and your sanity throughout taking that action. But don't lose that skill, because it's a good skill to have.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah. I felt like I was just... I took way too much on there. I was just kind of like, I had like a vision of me being on my holidays. I went away there with the girls and I was like just lying back and just being like, I'm after doing so much in the last couple of months, which I have, but I just kind of been like, no, I want to do this, do that, have all of this done by this month. I had that in my head, which is getting done. It's in the works, but it was, yeah. Just making sure it doesn't take a toll on it, because again, what's your business doing for you? If it's crushing you all the time. Yeah, I wasn't happy at all. I was just like, it was literally bawling crying every couple of days. I was just like, I just wanted to be over.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like torture, where I was like, this should not be torture. Like this should be like exciting.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask you the famous Demi question then now. I'll say it the way you said. So as we're getting towards the end of the episode, what's next? What's next? We've talked about the story. We've talked about, like, in a relatively short period of time, how you've come from, because you're still very young.
Yeah.
Come to where you are now and what everything looks like. But what's next on the agenda for you? Like, what are you focusing on next? What's in the crosshairs?
So as I said, literally just focusing on what I'm working on at the minute, and like just making everything better. Like, even now I'm kind of like, because I want to do so much, I'm like, there's still so much that I can do with what I'm doing at the minute. So basically, like, I haven't launched my online courses yet, but I've been working on them for so long. I've been working on them since November last year. So they're all online beauty courses that I already do in person, but they'll be online, fully accredited.
Brilliant.
So I've been working on them since November now, and I'm like, I've seen the video so many times that I'm already like, I want to video all this, and I'm like, I can make them better. I want to make the courses as much as I can as a real life in person course.
Yeah.
As much information as I give someone in person. So I'm like, I could probably make these videos better. I can probably like show them another video how I make a fan, or you know.
Yeah.
So I'm like, work more on days, probably create like ebooks. So basically just work on like the business that I have now and making what I have now better.
Yeah. There's a phrase I always use that's stolen from Naval Ravikant. You know Naval Ravikant? You've probably heard of him before. He's an angel investor, business mogul kind of guy, but iteration is what he talks about. Do it, get it out there, test it, and then make it better. So most of us, myself included, will kind of build it and look at it and go, it needs to be better, it needs to be better, before we ever release it. But getting it out there is the best thing you could ever do, because you get immediate feedback, and then you'll be like, okay, I'm going to fix this, I'm going to fix it. And your business, another one I heard is your business is always broken. Like, you're going to constantly be fixing it, but you can only fix it based off the feedback that you get. If you're in your own head the whole time, you're going to just second guess yourself all the time. It's like with this podcast, I said at the start as well, like, you just have to be happy with what it is right now. At the start, get it out there, get people listening to it, and then you're going to grow and adapt and evolve based on what happens after you get it out there. But if you kind of sit and try and make it perfect, you'll never release the podcast, which is 95% of people never actually release the podcast. Because they're just sitting there going, it needs to be better, it needs to be more polished, it needs to be better. Get it out there and then be comfortable not being great at the start, and then make it better and better and better and better and better and better. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I am gonna launch them, even if I still kind of like, this could be better. But I'll launch it and then I'll start working on it. And there's other courses that now I've launched since I've done them, like the BuyApp course that I haven't even done any videos for the online course. So I'm like, that's the next step, having more courses online, having like master classes, and because I feel like the courses that you do, like say for acrylics or they're just to get your qualification, and then obviously it's just the basic knowledge that you need. But then obviously there's so much more to like doing acrylics. There's so much more that you can actually learn, or weight lashes, like all the different, like I say, you're kind of like, oh, I don't know what you're all about. Like all different lash maps and stuff like that, or just upskilling courses and stuff like that I haven't done yet. So I'm just working on that as well. Yeah.
Fair play to you. Before we go, if someone's listening now and there's one kind of big take-home message you'd like to give someone who's thinking about maybe starting their business or starting anything, a project or whatever it is that they want to do, what would that kind of one big take-home message be?
Just go for it. Like there's anything that you do that you've never done before, you're gonna feel fear, and everyone does. It's just because someone's going for all like doing things and stepping out their like comfort zone doesn't mean they don't get the fear or so just literally going for it and stepping out your comfort zone.
Yeah. I think from listening to you the last, we're going 55 minutes now. From listening to you the last 55 minutes there, it's quite clear, because from the outside, like we said at the start, it might look like a certain thing, super polished, super competent, Demi's got it all going on, but we've just listened to you talk about constant challenges, fear, imposter syndrome, all that kind of stuff. But the big difference between you and someone who doesn't do it is that you're doing it anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. Yeah, Demi, fair play to you. That's 55 minutes of your story. Do you think you'd be able to do that? If I just took a microphone in front of you by yourself?
Definitely not.
No, well done, fair play. And again, for anyone who's listening who might not know where to find you, where can they reach out and get you?
Well, at Demi's Nails and Beauty on Instagram, and at Unlocked Potential Podcast, and our website, demisnailsandbeauty.ie.
Fair play to you. You're a pro. All right, we'll wrap it there, and I'll see you the next time we do something like this.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you're looking to reach out, you can find me at Unlocked Potential Podcast on Instagram, or at Demi's Nails and Beauty on Instagram, or our website, demisnailsandbeauty.ie. See you next time.